Imagine this. The narcissist who once controlled every part of your life, from what you wore to how you spoke, suddenly sees you smiling with someone else. Not just a friend. Someone who makes you feel seen, valued, alive. In that moment, something shifts in their eyes. It's not love. It's not heartbreak. It's something darker, sharper. You can almost feel the heat of their stare from across the room. To them, this isn't just a casual encounter. This is war. Because for a narcissist, you're not a person. You're property. And seeing you with someone else? That's like watching someone else drive their car, one they didn't even realize they'd abandoned until now. So what happens next? Do they retreat quietly? Or will they launch a psychological counterattack so subtle, you don't see it coming until it's too late? Stay with me, because once you understand their playbook, you'll never be blindsided again. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you know their reactions can be unpredictable and dangerous. So, if this topic hits close to home, hit that like button, subscribe for more eye-opening insights, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. Trust me, they'll thank you later. It happens in seconds. You're laughing, leaning in, maybe touching the arm of the person beside you. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch a familiar silhouette, the narcissist. Their gaze locks onto you like a laser, but there's no warm recognition. It's more like a silent calculation. In their mind, this isn't just you having a good time. It's them losing control over what they still believe is theirs. Narcissists see relationships less as emotional bonds and more as status trophies. And now, they're seeing their trophy on someone else's shelf. They may freeze for a moment, the smile they wear in public faltering just slightly. You'll see it, a flicker of confusion, then something harsher. Their body stiffens. The jaw clenches. The eyes narrow for just a fraction of a second before the mask slides back on. You might think you're imagining it. You're not. That flash is the raw, unfiltered truth they never want you, or anyone else, to see. And it's the first spark that will ignite everything that follows. Because in that instant, they're not wondering if they'll respond. They're deciding how. Inside their head, it's chaos. Narcissists survive on a carefully constructed image of superiority, charm, and control. Seeing you with someone else doesn't just bruise their ego, it smashes it like glass hitting concrete. They've told themselves a story: you'll always want them. You'll never really move on. No one else can measure up. But in one glance, that story collapses. And when the narrative shatters, the narcissist feels something they work desperately to avoid: vulnerability. This isn't the kind of vulnerability that leads to self-reflection. No, this is the kind that breeds rage. A narcissist's ego is like a house of cards. All it takes is one gust, one unexpected image, to send it tumbling. In those moments, they'll experience a strange mix of emotions: humiliation, envy, and an almost primal fear of losing their grip on your life. But don't expect tears or a heartfelt confession. What you'll see instead is overcompensation, a sudden display of indifference, arrogance, or charm for anyone watching. On the outside, they'll try to look untouchable. On the inside, the ground is cracking. And that crack? It's about to split wide open. The narcissist's public face is their greatest weapon. It's polished, controlled, and designed to keep others fooled. But when they see you with someone else, tiny fractures appear, and if you know what to look for, you can spot them. It might be a micro-expression that flashes so quickly, most people miss it: a sneer that vanishes, eyes that suddenly dart away, or lips pressed into a thin, bloodless line. Their pupils may dilate, their breathing quicken, even if they're still smiling. That's because the mask isn't made of steel, it's made of glass. And glass cracks under pressure. If they're talking to someone, you might notice their responses become clipped or distracted. They could tighten their posture, cross their arms, or shift their weight like they're bracing for impact. These aren't random quirks, they're tells, the body's way of betraying what the mind is desperate to hide. The thing is, narcissists hate when their mask slips, even for a heartbeat. So, once they realize someone might have caught that crack, they'll scramble to patch it up, fast. But the damage is already done. Inside, the storm is building. And storms don't stay contained for long. Jealousy hits a narcissist differently. For most people, it's a fleeting emotion, uncomfortable, but manageable. For a narcissist, it's a full-blown threat to their identity. Seeing you with someone else doesn't just make them jealous of that person. It makes them jealous of the version of you that they no longer control. They start comparing themselves to your new connection, scanning for ways to convince themselves, and eventually you, that this person isn't good enough. Maybe they're not as attractive, not as successful, or don't know you as well. But beneath all that rationalizing is a deeper wound, the fear that you've found someone who treats you better. This fear is like lighter fluid on their already bruised ego. The jealousy isn't about love, and it's not about missing you. It's about ownership. In their mind, they should always be the center of your world, whether you're together or not. And when they realize they've been replaced, even symbolically, it sets off the need to reassert dominance. They won't just feel the urge to respond, they'll feel entitled to it. What comes next? That's when the games begin. The moment jealousy ignites, the narcissist flips into strategy mode. They can't afford to let anyone, especially you, see them rattled. So, they move fast to control the narrative. Sometimes it's as simple as putting on a dazzling show. They might turn up the charm with people around them, laughing louder, telling bigger stories, making sure they look like the most magnetic person in the room. If they're with someone new, you'll suddenly see exaggerated displays of affection, hand-holding, kissing, maybe even staged social media posts later that day. It's less about genuine connection and more about sending a message. Look how happy I am without you. Other times, they'll try to undermine your moment subtly. A sly comment within earshot, a sudden, coincidental, interruption, or even ignoring you entirely as if you're invisible. This isn't random behavior. It's calculated damage control, a way to keep their image intact while planting seeds of doubt. They want you wondering if you ever mattered at all, while simultaneously reminding you that they're still a force in your life. But beneath that performance? The cracks are widening, and the mask is wearing thin. If the narcissist feels their image has taken a hit, they won't just sit back and stew. They'll start rewriting the story, and they'll make sure it spreads. This is where the smear campaign begins. They might start by dropping concerned comments to mutual friends. I hope they're okay. I've heard some worrying things. Or they'll frame your new relationship as reckless, immature, or doomed from the start. The goal isn't to tell the truth, it's to plant doubt. Sometimes they'll twist real events, taking tiny details and blowing them out of proportion until you barely recognize the version of yourself in their tale. And they'll share it with just enough people to ensure the gossip trickles back to you, all while pretending they had nothing to do with it. The brilliance, and the cruelty, of the smear campaign is its subtlety. It's not about shouting lies from a rooftop. It's about poisoning the well so slowly, you don't realize you're drinking from it until you're already sick. And while they're busy tearing you down behind the scenes, they're already setting up their next move, one designed to pull you right back into their orbit. Once the smear campaign is in motion, the narcissist often shifts gears into Hoover mode, named after the vacuum cleaner, because their goal is to suck you back in. They'll reach out with carefully chosen bait. Maybe it's a nostalgic message, "Just heard our song, made me think of you." Or they might play the victim, "I've been going through such a hard time, and no one understands me like you do." Sometimes they skip straight to grand gestures, surprise gifts, unexpected visits, or sudden apologies that seem heartfelt, until you realize they come with strings attached. Every word, every move, is designed to trigger old emotions and weaken your boundaries. It's important to remember, this isn't about reconciliation or love. It's about regaining control. If they can pull you away from your new connection, even just emotionally, they win. And if you resist, they'll either double down or pivot to a different tactic entirely. Which leads to one of the most deceptive phases of all, the one where they seem to disappear. When a narcissist goes quiet, it's tempting to think they've given up. But silence, in their world, is rarely surrender, it's strategy. They may cut off contact, stop showing up in the spaces you frequent, even vanish from social media. On the surface, it looks like they've moved on. In reality, they're gathering information, watching from a distance, and waiting for the right moment to reappear. This silent treatment isn't just about absence, it's about creating uncertainty. They want you to wonder, why haven't I heard from them? Did I overreact? Are they really fine without me? That doubt is their leverage. During this phase, they may quietly monitor you through mutual friends, fake accounts, or casual check-ins that feel innocent but are really reconnaissance. Every detail they learn about your mood, your relationship, your vulnerabilities, becomes ammunition for their next move. Their silence is the calm before the storm. And whether the storm comes in the form of an apology, an attack, or a carefully staged coincidence, you can bet it's already being planned. Because to a narcissist, disappearing is just another way of staying in the game. At this stage, the narcissist stands at a crossroads. Do they escalate the fight for control, or quietly retreat to nurse their wounds? The decision depends on a few key factors: your reaction, the strength of your boundaries, and the stability of their current supply. If they sense weakness, a text left unanswered too long, a hint of hesitation in your voice, they may go all in. Escalation can mean intensified hoovering, public confrontations, or even more aggressive smear tactics. They might create situations to force contact, accidentally run into you, or use mutual friends as messengers. But if you've made it clear you're untouchable, they may back off, at least temporarily. Retreat isn't defeat for them, it's a calculated pause. They'll redirect their energy toward a new target, but you'll remain in the background of their mind, a loose thread they might tug later. The truth is, with narcissists, retreat is rarely permanent. Whether it's weeks, months, or years down the road, they often circle back, just to see if the door is still open. That's why the final step is crucial, making sure that door stays locked. When dealing with a narcissist, your peace is your most valuable asset, and they know it. Protecting it means creating a fortress they can't easily breach. That starts with boundaries so clear, they leave no room for manipulation. Block their number. Lock down your social media. Limit what mutual acquaintances know about your life. It's also about emotional armor. Narcissists thrive on reaction, anger, hurt, even curiosity. The less you give them, the weaker their grip becomes. That means resisting the urge to defend yourself against their lies or prove your happiness to them. Surround yourself with people who know the truth and can remind you of it when doubts creep in. Keep a record of any contact, just in case things escalate. And most importantly, focus your energy on the life you're building now, the one that doesn't have them in it. Because at the end of the day, the narcissist's greatest fear isn't losing you. It's realizing they no longer have the power to affect you. And when you reach that point, you've already won. So here's the truth, when a narcissist sees you with someone else, it's never just a passing moment. It's a fracture in the control they thought was permanent. They might rage. They might charm. They might vanish. But every move is calculated to pull you back into their orbit. The most powerful thing you can do isn't to outplay them. It's to step completely out of the game. To refuse the invitations, ignore the bait, and live your life so fully that their shadow no longer reaches you. Because one day, they will look again. Maybe from across a room, maybe from behind a screen. And when they see you smiling, not as a performance, but because you're genuinely free, that's the one reaction they can't control. And in that moment, you'll know you've taken back everything they tried to steal. If this resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs strength today, and subscribe for more insights into healing, boundaries, and reclaiming your power. Your peace isn't just worth protecting, it's worth celebrating.